The Galaxy Council demanded tribute. Humanity said we will not yield. Its design was unlike anything humans had ever seen: towering spires of gleaming metal, flowing lights that seemed alive, and strange symbols that pulsed with energy. Dr. Alina Marquez, the lead scientist at the United Earth Space Agency, stared at the live feed from the orbiting telescope. Her mouth was dry. "It's not just a ship," she said softly. "It's a message." The message arrived soon after. A holographic projection appeared above the beacon, showing a figure that shimmered and shifted, as if it could not fully hold a single shape. Its voice was deep, resonant, and in perfect English, though the words carried a weight that made every human listener shiver. "People of Earth," it said, "the Galaxy Council commands you to deliver tribute. Compliance is mandatory. Resistance will be destroyed." The room went silent. Scientists, politicians, military leaders, they all stared at the projection, trying to process the words. Tribute. Humans had barely ventured past the solar system, and now some coalition of alien species demanded obedience. Admiral Kiera Voss, one of humanity's most decorated officers, was summoned immediately. She studied the images and then the words. "Tribute," she repeated. "They want us to bow to them to pay for the crime of reaching the stars." Her voice was low but filled with fire. "They don't understand humans. We do not yield, not ever." The Council's message was clear. Humans had 72 hours to comply, otherwise annihilation. Panic spread across the world. Markets crashed, governments scrambled, and families huddled together, afraid of the unknown. But amidst the fear, something else began to stir: pride. Across the colonies on Mars, the Moon, and orbital stations, people whispered the same words: "We will not yield." In the United Nations Hall, leaders debated endlessly. Some argued that humans were no match for the Council. They suggested surrender, hoping to preserve life. Others, led by Kiera Voss, argued that surrender would mean the end of humanity's freedom, the death of the human spirit. Outside the hall, citizens gathered, holding signs, chanting, and staring at the skies where the beacon pulsed. The message from Earth was broadcast across colonies and settlements, a simple statement, yet strong: "We will not yield." Meanwhile, scientists and engineers raced against time. Humanity had always been clever, able to invent solutions even when the odds were impossible. In underground labs, teams worked day and night, attempting to decode the alien technology. Dr. Marquez led a group of specialists in reverse engineering the beacon, searching for weaknesses or ways to communicate back. "What do we know about them?" asked Lieutenant Harris, one of Admiral Voss's officers. He was young but sharp, his mind quick with calculations. "They're powerful," Alina replied, "but not perfect. Their technology, it's sophisticated, but it shows patterns, predictable patterns. If we understand them, we might find a way to defend ourselves." Across the solar system, humanity's colonies were on high alert. On Mars, construction crews stopped their work to watch the skies. On the Moon, military academies held emergency drills. Even the small outposts on distant asteroids reported unusual readings in space. Humanity was united, every person aware that the survival of their species depended on their courage, their intelligence, and their unity. As hours passed, the alien envoy arrived. A ship, immense and impossible to describe in human terms, appeared at the edge of Earth's orbit. It radiated power that made satellites shake and instruments fail. Its hull shimmered with colors that human eyes struggled to see, and its shape seemed to shift when observed from different angles. Admiral Voss watched from the command center in orbit above Earth. Her hands rested on the rail, her jaw tight. "They want to intimidate us," she said. "They want fear to take hold, but they underestimate humanity. They always do." The Council's representative spoke again, their voice reverberating across Earth's communication networks. "You have 12 hours to comply. Humanity's defiance is noted. Surrender or be destroyed." In the military command centers, humans were already preparing. Ships were being readied not to attack but to defend. Lasers, missiles, shields, all were activated and tested. But the greatest weapon humans had was not firepower. It was their mind, their creativity, and their unpredictability. Dr. Marquez and her team worked feverishly to understand the alien beacon. Every second counted. They discovered that the beacon pulsed with energy in complex sequences, almost like a language or code. It's communicating, she realized. It's not just a threat. It's observing us, studying our reactions. Admiral Voss knew what that meant. They're trying to learn us. Every move we make, every decision, they watch, they analyze. But humans are chaotic. We do not act like patterns. We are unpredictable. That unpredictability became humanity's strength. Teams across Earth devised plans to confuse the Council. Messages were sent that were false or misleading. Ships moved in unexpected ways. On the streets, citizens held rallies showing unity and defiance. Humanity was no longer hiding in fear. It was standing tall, facing the unknown with courage. Yet time was slipping away. 12 hours, then 6, then 1. The pressure was immense, but it brought out the best in humanity. People remembered their history, the struggles on Earth, the wars, the plagues, the challenges that had always threatened extinction. Humanity had survived, and now, in the face of a cosmic threat, they would survive again. On the command bridge, Admiral Voss and her officers watched the alien ship. It was enormous, almost a planet in its own right. But she did not flinch. They may be bigger, she said, but they are not smarter than us. And they do not understand one thing: humanity never gives up. We do not yield, not to anyone. Dr. Marquez turned to her screens. I think I've found a flaw, she said. A tiny, small weakness. It won't destroy them, but it could give us an advantage. Then we use it, Admiral Voss said. We show them that humanity is not afraid. We show them our spirit. The alien envoy sent a final message before the deadline. This is your last chance. Compliance is required. Resistance will lead to death. And then the silence of space returned. For a brief moment, the Earth held its breath. Humanity had a choice. They could bow, surrender, and live under alien rule. Or they could fight in ways the Council could not imagine, using their brains, their courage, and their unity. The choice was clear. The world watched as Admiral Voss gave the order. Ships moved into formation, scientists prepared their experiments, and citizens across Earth and the colonies held their ground. Humanity would not yield. The stars, once distant and mysterious, now watched as humans prepared to defy an empire far beyond their understanding. And somewhere in the shadows of space, the Galaxy Council began to realize that they had underestimated a species that refused to bow. The silence of space was broken by a faint hum, barely detectable, but to those who had been watching, it was the sound of action. Humanity was not waiting to be destroyed. Across the solar system, humans were preparing to strike, but their weapons were not just metal and fire. They were clever, unpredictable, and entirely human. Admiral Kiera Voss stood on the command bridge of the flagship Resolute, a sleek vessel designed to be fast, agile, and deadly in ways the Council would not anticipate. She studied the holographic map of the Council's envoy ship and the outer colonies. Every sensor reading, every weak point, every pattern of alien patrols had been analyzed. Humanity could not match the Council in raw power, but they had something far more dangerous: ingenuity. Status report, Voss commanded. Lieutenant Harris tapped a console. Stealth fleet is ready. Cloaking devices operational. We've tested the gravity manipulation projectors. They should work in bursts to disrupt enemy ships' fields. Voss nodded. Good. Timing is everything. We hit when they expect nothing. Confuse them. Strike, disappear, strike again. Make them think humanity is everywhere but nowhere. At the same time, on Earth, Dr. Elena Marquez and her team were preparing a different kind of weapon. It wasn't a gun or a missile or a fleet of warships. It was a machine that bent gravity in short, powerful bursts. One small pulse could send a ship careening off course or disable its engines for crucial moments. It was risky, untried, but if used at the right time, it could level the playing field. Alina's hands flew over the controls. "If this works," she told her assistant, "we can create chaos among their formations. We can protect our colonies while our fleets hit the Council where it hurts." In the colonies, humans were already taking bold steps. Mars, the Moon, and the orbital settlements became active defense points. Civilian engineers modified mining ships into fast attack craft. Farmers on Mars, dusty plains became radar operators, tracking alien movement. Children and adults alike worked together, showing a unity that no alien species could understand. Voss's fleet moved silently. The stealth ships slipped past the Council's outer sensors, moving like shadows among the asteroids. Communication was limited, radio waves could be detected, but each captain knew their role. They were to sow confusion, disrupt the enemy, and vanish before the aliens could respond. The first strike was subtle. A small reconnaissance vessel approached one of the Council's outposts near Jupiter. Using the gravity manipulation device, the humans created sudden turbulence in the outpost shields. Panels sparked, lights flickered, and alien sensors scrambled. The humans disappeared before the Council realized what had happened. "This is working," Lieutenant Harris said, a rare smile on his face. But the Council was not easily fooled. They responded with a show of power that shook the outer colonies. Ships twice the size of Earth cities moved into formation, their energy fields radiating waves that made human sensors whine in protest. They fired warning shots, controlled, precise, meant to intimidate rather than destroy. The message was clear: humanity was outmatched. Yet Voss and her team were not deterred. "They think they scare us," she said to her officers. "Good, let them think they're in control, but we make the rules, always the rules." Dr. Marquez activated the main pulse. Across the system, the Council's smaller vessels began to drift off course, their formations breaking. The larger ships scrambled to respond, but the humans were already gone, vanished into the shadows of space. Meanwhile, on Earth, the citizens watched with a mixture of fear and hope. The first successful strike against the Council had been broadcast to the public. Humanity was fighting back, not with raw power but with cleverness. Pride swelled across the globe. People cheered. Children drew pictures of human ships dancing through alien fleets. Songs were written, not of despair, but of courage. The Council did not take this lightly. They dispatched a special envoy, a fleet of elite ships designed to hunt down and destroy human vessels. They expected humans to panic, to scatter, to surrender. But what they did not expect was how united humans had become. Voss received reports from multiple colonies. On Titan, engineers had set up decoy beacons to mislead the Council fleet. On the Moon, mining ships had been converted into rapid assault platforms. Even distant asteroid stations fired diversionary signals, creating a web of confusion that spread across the solar system. The humans moved like water, flowing, shifting, impossible to trap. One Council ship fired on a stealth vessel near Saturn. The human ship vanished, then reappeared above Neptune, striking a weak point in the Council's formation. The aliens could not understand it. Their logic, their patterns, their calculations, they failed to predict human moves. On the flagship Resolute, Admiral Voss smiled. "This is humanity at its best," she said. "They want order, we give them chaos. They want control, we give them freedom." But the fight was not without danger. One human vessel, the Intrepid, was damaged during a daring maneuver. Crew members worked tirelessly to repair it mid-flight. Outside, the vacuum of space was unforgiving. Inside, the crew relied on training, courage, and trust. Humanity's strength was not just technology, it was people. Brave, determined, unyielding people. As the hours passed, Voss decided it was time for the most daring move yet. The Council's main observation outpost, orbiting a gas giant near Jupiter, had to be disabled. It was the eyes of the Council in this sector. If humans could blind it even briefly, the outer colonies could prepare and the Council fleet could be thrown into confusion. Voss gathered her strike team. "This is the moment," she said. "We go in, we hit hard, and we vanish. Remember precision and speed. Every second counts." The strike team moved. They approached the outpost using stealth fields and gravity pulses. Inside, engineers from Earth remotely hacked the outpost systems. Alarms rang, lights flashed, and the Council officers were thrown into chaos. Humanity's ingenuity shone brightest here. They did not destroy the outpost, they turned its own systems against it. Sensors were scrambled, communications jammed, and defenses neutralized. The aliens were confused, unsure where the attack had come from. "Return to formation," Voss commanded. "We are ghosts, always ghosts." The Council fleet responded with fury, but it was too late. The damage was done. The humans had struck a blow that no one expected. Across the colonies, people celebrated. Humanity had shown that it could fight, adapt, and survive. But the Council was not defeated. They were powerful, relentless, and determined. They regrouped, analyzing human tactics, trying to predict the next move. And they realized something alarming. Humans were unpredictable in ways they could not calculate. Courage, creativity, and unity, these were not weaknesses. They were strengths that no weapon could destroy. Back on Earth, Dr. Marquez and her team continued to work. They had learned more about the Council's technology than anyone thought possible. Every success, every small victory, built confidence and pride. Humanity was no longer afraid. They were ready. Admiral Voss received a transmission from a colony on Titan. "The Council fleet is regrouping," the officer reported. "They will strike again, harder this time. They expect humans to fear them." Voss leaned forward, her hands gripping the console. "Let them expect fear. They will find none. Humanity fights with its mind, its heart, and its spirit. We are not cowed, we are not broken, and we will not yield." As night fell across Earth, people looked up at the stars. For the first time, they did not see cold darkness. They saw possibility, courage, and determination. Humanity was alive, united, and defiant. They had struck back against a power that seemed impossible, and they had done it together. In the shadows of space, the Council fleet gathered, preparing for another attack. They had underestimated humans, and that mistake could cost them dearly. The galaxy was about to witness something new, a species that refused to bow, refused to yield, and refused to be controlled. And humanity was only getting started. The Council fleet loomed over the outer planets like a shadow over the solar system. Ships larger than cities stretched across the void, their hulls glowing with alien power. Humanity had struck back before, but this was different. The Council had regrouped, studied human tactics, and brought their full might. They intended to crush the rebellion once and for all. Admiral Kiera Voss stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her face calm, though her mind raced. Every report, every sensor reading, every movement of the Council fleet was analyzed. Humanity's stealth maneuvers had given them hope, but now, in the face of overwhelming force, courage alone would not be enough. "Lieutenant Harris," she said, "prepare the strike teams. We have one chance, one clear window to turn the tide." Harris nodded. "Yes, Admiral, the fleet is ready. Stealth ships in position, gravity pulses charged, diversion teams in orbit. We can hit their flagship, but only if everything goes perfectly." Voss clenched her fists. "Perfect is not an option. Speed, precision, and adaptability are our weapons. Humanity does not follow rules the Council expects. We make our own." On Earth, Dr. Elena Marquez activated the gravity manipulation device at full power. The pulse rippled through space, subtle but effective. Council ships experienced minor fluctuations in their orbits, forcing them to adjust their formations. Every second counted. Every disruption could give humans the advantage they needed. The human fleet moved like shadows. The stealth ships slipped past the outer patrols, invisible, untouchable. Diversion teams fired signals and holograms, creating phantom fleets across multiple systems. The council officers were confused, frustrated, and increasingly desperate. Voss addressed her team. Remember what we are fighting for, not fear, not survival, freedom. Humanity will not bow, humanity will not yield, let them see it. The strike team approached the council flagship. It was massive, nearly a kilometer long, glowing with alien energy. Its weapons systems were unlike anything humans had faced before, but they relied on calculations, patterns, and logic. Humans relied on unpredictability. Lieutenant Harris activated the gravity pulses. The flagship shuddered as its shields flickered, throwing off targeting arrays. Human stealth vessels darted in, weaving through energy fields, avoiding fire, striking at weak points. Inside the council flagship, officers scrambled. They should not be here. How can they evade our sensors? One shouted, panic rising in their voice. They did not understand human creativity. One stealth ship appeared above the flagship's main command deck. Engineers on Earth hacked the alien AI networks remotely, introducing false commands, misaligning defenses, and turning their systems against them. Lights flickered, weapons misfired, and the council officers could do nothing to stop it. Admiral Voss watched every movement. Hold formation. Focus fire where they are weakest. Strike with precision. Adapt. Improvise. Survive. Human ingenuity was on full display. Small teams infiltrated secondary systems on the flagship, cutting communications, disabling propulsion, and creating chaos from within. The council fleet was powerful but rigid. Humans were flexible, adaptive, and fearless. Meanwhile, the colonies were coordinating their own strikes. Mars' orbital stations fired high-energy pulses to disrupt council shields. Lunar mining vessels acted as fast attack platforms, striking at supply ships. Even the distant asteroid settlements sent waves of sensor interference, making the Council fleet think humanity was everywhere at once. The Council commander finally realized the danger. They are not predictable, they are everywhere, they are human. Voss saw the moment of doubt and seized it. She ordered the final phase of the attack. The strike teams converged on the flagship, striking simultaneously from multiple angles. Gravity pulses disrupted weapon arrays. Stealth ships fired concentrated energy bursts at structural weak points. Engineers on Earth guided the attack with precision, manipulating alien systems remotely. The flagship shuddered violently. Energy shields collapsed in sections. Internal alarms rang continuously and council officers were thrown into chaos. Aboard the Resolute, Voss allowed herself a rare smile. "It's working," she said. "They are falling apart." But the battle was not yet over. The council still had enormous reserves, and if they focused fire, humanity could lose everything. Voss knew they had to negotiate while holding the advantage. She initiated a direct communication channel to the council flagship. "This is Admiral Kiera Voss of humanity," she said. "Your fleet is strong, but your strategy fails because you underestimate us. We do not bow. We do not yield. You can destroy your outer fleet and still not break our spirit. Retreat now or face continued losses." There was silence. Then a voice, calm but strained, responded. "You are unlike any species we have encountered. Your courage, your unpredictability is remarkable. We underestimated you." Voss held the line. "We are humans. We survive because we are adaptable, united, and determined. This is your choice. Leave or continue fighting and risk losing more than you imagine." After tense moments, the council commander agreed to withdraw. Their ships slowly retreated, their forces disorganized and shaken. Humans had proven their value not through raw power alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and unity. Back on Earth, Citizens erupted in celebration. Across the colonies, people cheered, waving flags and singing songs of triumph. Humanity had survived, but more than survival, they had won recognition. Dr. Marquez watched the celebrations from her lab. She smiled. "We did it. We actually did it." Voss addressed her fleet. "Today, humanity has shown the galaxy what it means to be human. We are not slaves. We are not subjects. We are free, and we will protect that freedom together." Across the solar system, humans reflected on their journey. From the fear of annihilation to the courage of standing together, they had proven that even against an empire, their spirit could not be crushed. The Council would remember this. Other species in the galaxy would remember this. Humanity had arrived not just as survivors, but as a force to be reckoned with. Voss looked at the stars, her eyes filled with determination. "We will continue to explore, to defend, to innovate," she said softly. "The galaxy is vast, and we are just beginning. Humanity will not yield, not ever." And somewhere far beyond the reaches of the solar system, alien eyes watched, realizing that a new power had emerged, a species that refused to bow, refused to submit, and refused to be conquered. Humanity had fought, and humanity had triumphed. The stars were theirs to explore, not as slaves, but as equals. And the galaxy would never forget the day humanity said, boldly and without fear, "We will not yield."